Hi. I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before and you're here because you love Cindy or Austin or Ellias or Chanel, and you're just here to watch us talk about Harry Potter, I'm Sarah. This is my channel. And as many of you know, this is our read-along Harry Potter and the Virgins. I'll let everybody, why don't we all introduce ourselves and then say what our rating was for this book. I am biased because I love Harry Potter. I'm the only one here that's read the whole series all the way through multiple times. So I'm going to go with, okay, so in the past I've rated this book actually 4 stars, but with this reread, I really enjoyed it more than the last time I reread it. So I think I'm going to bump it back up to 5, but I'm also like a Harry Potter slut. So anyway.
Ooh, okay. So I got this little fancy cover. I gave this book 3 stars, which, I just gave it 3 stars. There's not much to say. I gave it 3 stars. It was good. It was better than the last one. It was good in comparison, but I still wasn't impressed. But it wasn't bad. So 3 stars.
And you're Chanel from Chanel Time.
Oh yes, and I'm Chanel from Chanel Time. I didn't know if we were still doing intros, but yes, I'm Chanel.
Hi, I'm Cindy from Read with Cindy. I also gave this 3 stars, but I did like this book better than the first one. I just thought it was like a cute little middle grade story. And so I kind of just saw it as that. But so far, nothing too deep yet that would warrant 4 or 5 stars from me. But yeah, I just thought it was cute. I liked a lot of the characters better here too.
Me next. Okay. I'm Austin from Sovereign Novels. I've read this book before, probably 2 years ago, and my rating still stays the same. It's 2.5 stars. I really did not like this one at all. I find it. The mystery I found was more interesting than the first one, but I found myself more annoyed than anything, to be honest.
I don't even know what to say. I'm like, ooh.
Hey everyone, I'm Ellias over from Ellias or Ellias Reads, and my final rating for this book is 4 out of 5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. I really liked the darker aspects of the path that this book went on, and I really liked the mystery as well. It really, I remembered a little bit from the movies and everything, but it was a lot scarier. But I agree with Austin. It was a little bit more annoying in terms of characters from the first book. Lockhart annoyed the living shit out of me. He was so stupid. He was so annoying. But yeah, 4 to 5 stars. I still thoroughly enjoyed it. So.
Okay, cool. That leads me to my next question. So I wanted to ask everybody what I know last time we discussed kind of our feelings about the characters and stuff. And so obviously we are reunited with the same characters from the last book, but then also we get introduced to a couple more. So I guess if everybody has any standout thoughts about the characters or anything.
I do. I think what made me like this book a lot better was because in the first book, we were kind of stuck with Harry the whole time and I wasn't really invested in him yet. Now at this point, I'm kind of, I feel like warming up is too strong of a word. I'm just trying to be, open-minded about him now, but he was saved by the twin brothers, Fred and George, and Ron. And I just thought it was so cute how, he was stuck with the Dudleys. And then those 3 showed up because he didn't respond to their letters. And I don't know, I just thought it was a cute friendship moment. And it really showed how the twins are the MVPs here because they're just here to fuck around and have a good time. And so I like that vibe that they have going on. So yeah.
I kind of agree with that because in the first book, I feel like it was all Harry, Harry, Harry. And because I'm I didn't like that because I don't know, even in this book, I don't care about Harry Potter at all. He's the least important person to me. So seeing more of Ron's family, Ginny being introduced to the story more and her actually having significance was really cute. And I really loved her character a lot more than I thought because in the beginning she was super annoying, but then I was like, oh, I low-key stan her. So I really liked the addition of Ginny, and then I really liked that Ron was more involved because his whole family was just super involved in this book. and I like that because I really like their family. So just kind of like, Harry who?
Yeah, just a quick comment on that. I really liked how the Weasleys just like accepted Harry as part of their own family. It was just like such a sweet, wholesome family. Yeah.
I did like the fact that we get to see Harry and Ron kind of by themselves without Hermione to see how their friendship is. Kind of, I mean, we get to see it a little bit in the beginning, but like we mainly see them all three together, like kind of collaborating to figure out this mystery. But then Hermione goes and gets petrified. I mean, I'm sure not intentionally, but and then work it out, like work it through.
Yeah, coming off of that, I sort of agree with Austin, and I feel like Hermione's gonna play a much bigger role later in the next book, which is The Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know, because I from what I remember from the movies that like everything, and Harry and Ron are like a duo in this one, and then like Hermione and Harry are like sort of like a duo in the other one because Ron gets injured, but that's for another last show. I really liked the fact that they introduced like a character like Ginny again, and I didn't like realize at first. I didn't remember that she was going to be the one taken away, so I thought that was really interesting of like adding maybe another character to like their overall like group. I don't know. I feel something with Harry and Ginny, so we'll see. But I also I also like how the older brothers are like they're okay with hanging out with like their with Ron and Harry. They're not like stuck up like seniors in school. It's like we're the cool kids, don't hang out with us. Like they all wizards stick together, so that was really nice.
To add to that real quick, yes, definitely that was really one of my favorite parts as well. That they weren't like, ew, freshmen, they're like, oh, let's hang out with these little kids and let's teach them kind of like the ways of, you know what I mean? They were like, you guys are losers, but we still like you, so hang out with us. And it just makes you feel cool, when you meet that older friend that you're like, oh, yes.
Also, this is probably just I think I'm realizing this now more, especially middle grade, that this is like a common trope where these like little 12-year-old kids or these kids in general would usually be able to solve a giant mystery and overcome like their obstacles, whereas like these adults who haven't figured out these mystery in like decades or anything couldn't have figured it out. Like especially with like the Chamber of Secrets, they managed to get it open and kill the giant like creature without any adult. So I was just like, that was great.
Sorry, Austin, go ahead.
They said that they searched like every crevice of Hogwarts, and I'm like, and Harry's like, there's a serpent right here. I mean,
at this point, I'm just like, it's okay.
What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying, at this point, like, most people would probably criticize that, but I feel like it's a trope that I don't know that how else would you be able to like favor these heroes? What else are these 12-year-olds gonna do?
That's I feel like one of the reasons why I think middle grade is really cool, right? But in this book, I was just so okay. One thing that really annoyed me that also happened in the first book kind of was, these kids are like figuring out everything, but then at the same time, like they literally figured out this elaborate mystery that's been going on for literally years. You're telling me Hermione literally had that paper in her hand the whole book? She figured it out in like chapter 5. We're like going through the whole book. The mystery is already basically solved, right? And then at the very end, when it's like, okay, you give these students like all this power, but for some reason, Harry still has to have someone explain the entire thing to him at the end. It happened again.
He is like 12. So I don't know. What I liked about this book is I saw a growth in Harry. He wasn't as much of an idiot in this book. Like he was putting some pieces together, even with Hermione's help. Like last book, like Hermione carried everybody. But this book, I feel like Harry was like, Moaning Myrtle's the one that died, like after he went to talk to Aragog and stuff. But something that I really liked was the development of Hermione in this book, because when they were doing the Polyjuice potion, Ron was like, this seems really like we're gonna get in trouble, we shouldn't do this, and she was like, okay, fine, so you just want all the Muggle-born students to die? Fuck you. She was like, So I liked that. Also, obviously I love the addition of Ginny. I also feel like Dumbledore always knows everything, but he's just like, let's see how this plays out this year.
It's like another trope where like the adults don't either want to tell or like disclose everything. They just want to give you hints and like not tell like these kids and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you might.
well, here's a hint, you know, to help later.
I feel like Dumbledore has something that he's hiding that we'll find out later. I don't completely trust him because he's like I'm sure he's a good guy.
Too much. I don't trust anybody that knows everything.
I think some part of him is morally gray, and we're gonna find out that later on. But thinking about this though, I didn't mind that like the kids just solved all the mysteries because I don't know. I think there's some charm to that when you're reading like a middle grade book because I think it's like showing how precocious some of the kids can be.
I mean, you're right because at the same time when we read by 8, it's like these teenagers solving everything. So it's just like,
well, that's like they were teenagers. I don't know. I think it's like there's like a certain innocence with like middle grade kids like being able to figure it out versus like YA that's just teens like angsting over their love triangle or whatever. They don't it's kind of like Stranger Things, right? Like they were able to.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think there's a certain charm to that. However, I didn't really like how Hermione didn't really play much of a role in this book. I feel like the only reason why she was petrified was so that she couldn't be active in the whole book to solve the mystery. Otherwise, the book would have ended like
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, we talked about that too. We were like, so the J.K. Rowling literally put Hermione to sleep so this book would be longer.
She would have solved the mystery. And then,
I guess, because if you did think that Harry was useless in the first book, this is a way for you to think he's now like useful. So I guess
it's a little slow.
But like one thing that I think I really, really liked was, even though it kind of sucked, was Hagrid's story in this book and kind of like him developing from just because in the first book he was literally just the stupid giant that like loves animals but gets everyone into trouble. But then in this book, reading that he was like set up, and because he's just like this pure soul that just wants to care for these ugly animals for some reason. I'm not saying like the books, like, the animals in this book were ugly, so I'm not. They have these weird spiders. No, nobody can convince me that those are cute animals. No, so. Seeing Hagrid, the fact that he literally saved an entire colony of vicious spiders out of the pureness of his heart, that was really cute. Like, he did everything possible to save them. You know what I mean? So I really felt this humanized and gave Hagrid, like, a lot of importance because now you see why Hagrid is such a useful character. Because if not for him, when Harry and Ron went into the forest, those spiders could have just gobbled them up. But there was that whole conversation. You know what I mean?
They still were going through that.
I mean, they were still going to eat them, but at least they were like, ooh, tasty.
They did give it some time, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Hagrid. I liked those comments once that Hagrid is a cinnamon roll. He really is. He's such a cute character. I'm interested to hear so I'm hearing that a lot of you liked this book better. Austin did not. So I'm kind of interested to hear what everybody's thoughts were as far as like the plot itself. Like obviously there's some things we didn't like about like Hermione being petrified and whatever, but like as a whole, like with Tom Riddle and like the whole basilisk thing, like how would you rate this plot overall?
I mean, it kind of sort of reminded me of like a mystery because I like reading mysteries. So that was nice. I generally like this, like in terms of like plot, better than the first book because the first book introduced us to things. We're just getting used to the world, the characters, and like the magic system. But this one, we're like in it, and we're solving a mystery that's in the school, and it just makes me wonder, like, what other rooms, what other mysteries, what other things that could take place, that darker things, bigger things, like that Chamber of Secret things was like huge and everything. So I was just like, what other dangerous things is Hogwarts really hiding? You know, I'd be really interested to see like or read about like more of the history, like like everything like that. But I really liked it overall. I thought it was really fun, you know, following this kid trying to figure out this like mystery and puzzle and trying to save his friends.
I think for me, I didn't really care for the external conflicts of the plot and the actual mystery, but I was interested. Oh, is there like a echo?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, testing. All right, cool. But I was interested in like the internal conflict that Harry was going through, where he was wondering if he was meant to be in Slytherin or not. And he was worried that deep down he was like a Slytherin and he was like a fraud in Gryffindor. And so I just thought that internal conflict was interesting because he was really questioning if he was like responsible for the bad things that were happening in the school. And I feel like that could have been I don't know, like I saw the potential in how that could be explored more for like gray morality. And I feel like at the end of the book, when Dumbledore said that it wasn't, what was his quote again? He says something about like how it's not about who you are or what qualities you have, but what you do or something like that. And I just thought that was like a nice payoff for that, because it was just a really simple way of showing that like everyone can be good and bad, but then it's like, we have to actively choose to do good. So I really liked that part of the plot. So, yeah.
I think for me, which is ironic because I'm such a character-focused person, if I was to just rate this book only on the plot, like regardless of Harry, regardless of anything, if I was just to rate this on the plot, it would have been 5 stars for me. And the reason I'm saying this is because I don't know if you guys have ever watched House of Anubis, but it's an amazing show. And this book gave me House of Anubis vibes, like so hardcore. I don't know if it was like the weird mystery, the like, oh, this mysterious school. I just really liked that a lot. Like, I love the mystery of like, oh, we're going to pull this lever and like, what's going to happen? What's over here? Oh, it's a snake, but it's actually this whole entire fortress, you know? So I thought that was really great, especially as a mystery lover. I was like, oh, what we gonna find? And I've only seen like the first 4 Harry Potter movies, like barely, because I was asleep on that plane for like half of it. But I remember that I watched like out of the first 4 that I watched, I remember the second movie being my favorite because of the whole like, what's in here, what's in there. So I feel like, I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like in hindsight, regardless of what I think of the other books, I'm really gonna like this one in the end. I might look back in 5 years and be like, man, that book was too safe. So I don't know. The plot was really good, and I think it's the mystery.
Yeah. I think like what I didn't like about this, it's like I'm switching the first, like what I didn't like about the first one, and it's hard to explain. So like basically the first one I didn't like because it was too fast. This one I didn't like because I felt like it was too slow.
It was slow.
Yeah. And I felt like I was missing a lot of the excitement that I was getting from the first one. Granted, I did like the mystery a lot, and I did watch the movie straight after reading the book, and I liked the movie a lot better. I think it's just like, maybe it's my poor imagination. I don't know. Like, because it just seemed a lot more fun to watch than it was to read it.
Yeah.
Especially the bathroom, like, I don't know why in my mind I imagined the girls' bathroom with Moaning Myrtle to be like one of the ones that were in like my middle school, because it was really like boring. And you watch the movie and it's like this just giant structure that's what all the
it was like huge in the movie, because I very clearly remember that bathroom from the movie. Like it was so impressive. I was like, is this a school? But then when you're reading it, it literally just sounds like a ratchet toilet, or just like carving notes on the wall. Like the bathroom sounds so crusty in the book, but then in the movie, it's just like so cool. So I think I remember it from the movie while I was reading it, because it was just such a strong, you know, like visual thing. But I feel like if you were just reading the book and you hadn't seen the movie, you would just be like, what?
I think that's a really good point. And I feel like this make me realize why I feel kind of like lukewarm overall about Harry Potter. Because often you were saying like, oh, I don't know if I'm just not imaginative when reading it. But for me, I'm not like a visual reader. So when I read a story, I don't like actually picture it happening.
He really doesn't. Let me just say, this is my time to talk smack on Cindy. She really doesn't. She'll be like, what? This is what happened. This is where they were. She's like, what?
Huh? Yeah, it's more like when I read a book, it's more like it's weird. It's like I'm more so interpreting the way that the sentence was written. So it's like more on a technical level than on an imaginative level. And so I feel like that's the opposite of how you should consume Harry Potter, because it's like a middle grade style, but then the visuals are supposed to be like amazing. So I think if you were like highly visual while you were, if you're a reader, then you would love Harry Potter much more.
I had a question, like regarding this whole like that's a funny comment.
Yeah, no,
like,
I love to
a
highlight
big
it.
ass snake, just like
I actually thought about that when I was reading, because the basilisk, especially if you've seen the movie, is really giant, and I was like, how big are these guys?
They got the giant poo-poo.
yeah, like I had a question like regarding like the whole mystery plot overall. Like, why was Tom Riddle like he was the younger version? Like why? Like why did he hide the journal like in the toilet?
Later books,
Like,
you will find
like that didn't really make sense to me. Like, you know, like what if Harry never found that diary?
The thing is, he hid it in the girls' toilet, so like Harry would have never gone to the girls' toilet.
So Lucius gave it to Ginny on purpose. So like that's the takeaway at the end, you know, when he frees Dobby and stuff, is that Lucius planned it, like when they had the fight in the bookstore, like in the beginning of the school year. He put it in the children. Yeah, like he put it in her Transfiguration textbook. So like Lucius, like he's a sketchy guy. He like wanted something bad to happen at Hogwarts.
Oh.
That's not a spoiler. That's in the book.
Yeah.
But you know more about Marvolo Riddle as the books.
Oh, okay.
How long did it take him to think Tom Riddle and then make a complete like, what is it called? Like underground?
Did she like?
Yeah, she's that
first, and then she turned it into Voldemort, or did she pick Voldemort and say, "Oh, this looks like a Tom"? Like
no, because I don't know, because Voldemort means something in French, like about death. So I don't know which one she came up with first. Like I wonder if I don't know her mind. Okay, I know that she's like sketch, like not a good person, but her mind sometimes, like especially as you keep going in the series, because she clearly like mapped out some stuff. It's kind of like, I truly feel like it's that like, you know, that meme from It's Always Sunny where he's like pointing at the wall and like there's all these like lines. Yeah. Literally like that's kind of how Harry Potter gets. So you're like, I don't know, like again, she's not a good person, but like her mind, powerful.
Her mind, it amazes me.
No, yeah, community. Oh, somebody just said that she found Tom Riddle's name in a graveyard. So apparently she saw Tombstone with.
I don't remember that.
And then she came up with that. I don't know. This Holly Tucker had a fact for us. So. Yeah, and then somebody just was also clarifying. So Ginny's the one that hid it in the toilet because she got nervous.
I was like, what a mess.
She's like, I've sprinkled some chickens. I think you shouldn't have this diary anymore.
But speaking of Ginny, I would never have guessed like she would play like such a pivotal role like in this book, in the second book at all. Like I would be thinking like maybe like Harry would be rescuing like, I don't know, Hermione or Ron or one of his friends. Mm-hmm. Turned out to be little tiny Ginny.
Yeah, honestly, I was very shocked that Ginny was the one, because honestly, when she was like nervously wanting to tell Harry something, and then like Percy, was it Percy who was like, is one of the characters? Yeah. Now, okay. So when Percy was like coming, I thought she was gonna like expose Percy for doing something or something like that. So I honestly did not, even though I've watched the movie, I didn't. I was like, what?
I don't remember much from Ginny from the movies. All I remember is that she plays like a bigger role later towards the end. I don't even remember.
She sucks in the movies. Her character in the books is like a million. Like she's a badass in the books, and then in the movies, Bonnie Wright, who plays her, is like, "Hello, Harry."
Oh, really? Okay, that's good to know. Okay, I'm excited for her character then. Speaking of new characters,
see, that's
talk about Lockhart.
I didn't think I would like Ron when I was reading. Like when I started reading the books, I didn't think I would like Ron at all, because in the movies he was just so bland.
Same.
Like I was like, "Where's the personality? Where?"
Same.
I was like, this kid is so dry, and so are all his family members. But then, like, when you read the book, all the flavor is there.
So, dude, like, speaking of about Ginny and Ron, I feel like I'm the only person so far who doesn't really care for Ginny. I don't know. I just think I don't really vibe with her personality. Maybe I'll like her better in the future books. Maybe it's because
She's 11 right now.
yeah. And also like
I
her only personality trait right now is like she has a huge crush on Harry. So I'm just like, I can't relate to you at all. But
I'm like, girl, what do you see in him?
And I don't know. I just don't like the very like timid, overly nervous characters in general. But I don't know. Maybe I'll like her. Maybe she'll be a badass later. But Ron, again, he continues to be consistent in being like a very funny, a naturally funny character that you can't help but like. He's very endearing. I especially liked the whole ongoing joke about his broken wand, and like even to the end of the book, he still has a broken wand, and it's like
it's brand. It's his brand.
Yeah, I love that because that's something I can relate to. Like if I broke my wand, I feel like I would be too cheap to pay.
I mean, didn't his broken wand save them anyway? So like,
it did.
So
yeah. It's just funny to think about like a stupid little broken wand that he tries to use, and it just like messes up.
The broken wand is like, nope.
I feel like it reflects like, so obviously Hogwarts, it seems like Hogwarts is almost like a public school where it's free to go if you're a wizard or witch and you've been invited and accepted, so it's free to go. But it's kind of like, I feel like it reflects like kids now, like they're required to go buy all these like magic books and wands and all these things, and I imagine that's expensive. And so it's like kind of like, you know, like when kids can't get like their notebooks and their pens and their pencils because they can't afford it. I'm just like, so nobody's out here offering aid, like
I was gonna say that because I don't want to say that Hogwarts feels like elitist or whatever because anybody can get in, but the thing is, Hogwarts is definitely that rich kid school because you have people like Draco who literally takes every opportunity to remind you that he's rich. Then you have Harry, who's also rich, even though he's an orphan. Like, his parents left him all that money. You know what I mean? So he had absolutely no problem getting his school stuff. And so I feel like one of the reasons why I really like Hermione and Ron is because Ron is like a representation of the poor kid. You know, like the kid who can't really afford, because he comes from like a big family, and his parents are like, he could. Oh my god! Like, I don't want to mention that I have all this money, so I'm just gonna like buy all these really expensive things and not mention that.
Can't he not access the vault anyway until he turns like 18?
Yeah, but like,
no, he can. Like if he, I'm sure if he was like, hey, Dumbledore, whoever manages his vault, he could be like, yo, Hagrid, take me. I need to give my wand some.
Like,
Guinea the or
not like the most. Didn't you get like the room and like everything? So I just feel like Ron represents all the poor kids, right? Who come from like big families. They can't really like afford to get new things, and that's why he literally scrounges for the bare minimum in all his supplies. He's that kid that like every single thing in his pencil pouch doesn't match. Like he's got 12 yellow highlighters, and all of them are weak. And then you have Hermione, who I don't want to say is like, I feel like Hermione could represent anybody who's between two cultures or between two anythings. So like, because she's struggling with the magical world and then the Muggle world. So it's kind of like, even if you're like an immigrant or like any person that has to struggle with being in a certain culture, but then not really being there, you kind of understand. I'm gonna buy all these too.
Yeah, I think that's what I like. That's why I like Ron and Hermione, because they're such good like underdog characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I want to answer what would have happened if we switched to one of them.
Wait, sorry, I didn't mean to highlight this comment. Although this is also funny that they were all required because they're really expensive. So somebody asked, how did Hermione and Muggleborn manage? So there was a scene when they were in Diagon Alley where her parents were with her and they were exchanging money at the bank. And also Hermione is like, I do think I agree with you that she represents the two worlds, whatever. But actually, Hermione is also well off because both her parents are dentists, so she's not hurting for money either. So, like, her parents are kind of like, they find out she's a witch, and they're like, great, we'll convert we have so much Muggle money, we'll just convert that over.
Wait, so
Also,
both her parents are like Muggles, and then she just.
Yeah, they're both muggles and they're dentists. So
Oh,
she
okay.
also.
I thought she had one parent.
Everybody's
so the world does.
That's Ron.
Also, I thought this comment was interesting when somebody said J.K. Rowling is a capitalist through and through LMAO. I think that was like a negative comment towards her. Obviously, J.K. Rowling, I'm not saying she's good. She obviously has some issues, but I actually like the commentary on like the whole like dichotomy like between like the rich wizarding families and families like Ron's, because Ron's family, they're actually technically pure blood wizards. Like that it actually is like they clap back at Lucius at one point being like, oh, you wouldn't want the Weasleys to lose their daughter because they're a really important wizarding family. I think Dumbledore says that. So I definitely think, although I think that J.K. Rowling fell short in some of her commentary on stuff, like I feel like she should have pushed harder. Obviously, like post-canon saying that like Dumbledore was gay and like stuff like that. She definitely like fell short in like pushing the envelope on like how she discussed these things. But I feel like she purposely has the Weasleys in the picture to comment on like money gaps, and then also having even the concept of mudbloods, with that being a sort of like racism. And then if you think about it, Voldemort is basically like Hitler. He's like a Nazi because he believes in like pure race stuff. So I think, I don't know, I think it's interesting. Obviously, we can all roast J.K. Rowling all day. But
and I agree with you, because as much as you could be like J.K. Rowling is a human, she did, like, I noticed a lot of different things. Well, the first book was quite concerning because there were so many things that I was like, what? But then the second book, because it was mostly commentary on like people being rich versus poor, like in a school setting, because I think if you're reading that as a kid, that comes from a family that doesn't have enough money to like afford all these fancy things, or like you come from a family where like a lot of your friends are richer than you are, I think the second book really hits hard. You know what I mean? Because you identify a lot with Ron. So
Yeah, me too. And I did like the how a lot of like the danger in this plot was like risking the lives of like the Muggleborns and like purebloods. Like I feel like that's a good simple way to kind of introduce that concept of race to kids. So yeah.
No, good. Yeah, and I think it was really like interesting because then I think Draco was like, yeah, who cares if they all die anyway? I can't remember if it was Draco or someone else who said that, where they were basically just like, who cares if it's the Muggles? They don't even matter. You know, because Draco, the entire story was like, I hope Hermione's going to be one of them.
Yeah, dude.
He was literally like, can Hermione be next? I was like, if you don't.
I was like, dude.
I thought that was really funny, but at the same time, I was like.
Dude, he has such like a vendetta against Hermione. I'm like, yo.
Do you have a crush? What's going on? Like, you cannot hate someone that much without liking them.
Honestly, I've seen like a lot of fan edits shipping Hermione and Ron together, so it's just like, you're not that wrong there.
Me, I don't. Okay, so before getting into like reading Harry Potter, I always saw a lot of people ship Hermione with Harry. I just don't see it at all.
No, I hate when people do that.
That's what I thought when I first like saw the first movie. I thought they were a couple. They were going to be a couple.
No, I just that ship is the most like confusing ship to me, because if anybody in this series so far, like even if it's like a cute little crush, the only cute little crush I can see so far is like Harry and Ginny. I think they would work well together.
Yeah, that's what I thought too after this book.
Because she's just like, I think Harry's just like an idiot, and then Ginny's also an idiot, but like a shy idiot. So together, they would just be two idiots, and that's just perfect. Like, just put them together, just there. And then I just feel like I can see people who are like, oh, I see Draco having a crush on Hermione. I see that, but I still feel like Hermione and Ron work better together. So, but Hermione and Ron or Hermione and Draco makes way more sense as a ship than like Harry and Hermione. Like,
I've seen that Hermione ship as well, and I think I can understand like the idea of it and the appeal of it, because it's like it would, like, if it were executed well, it would be like a classic enemies to lovers, like
Draco.
Yeah.
I thought you were Harry. I was like, oh no, I can never see that.
But I think like reading the book as it is, I don't think Draco has the depth that would be well executed for that kind of relationship. And Hermione is too good for Draco.
And also, I feel like Hermione needs somebody who has some level of intelligence, and the only person who does is Ron. Like, even though Ron is like, Hermione, you're so annoying, he actually has brain cells. Like, you can tell he has brain cells. But, like, Draco's brain cells are only for comebacks, and Harry's brain cells are only for Quidditch. So, like...
What about Drarry?
Yeah.
Nope.
We ain't touching that one.
There are so many fanfictions of Drarry. There really are. Like, people really going. Here's the thing, though. I agree. It would have to be one of those things where she had written Draco to have more redeemable qualities. Like, I think Draco kind of just is mean. So it's kind of like he doesn't really like.
I mean, I ship Harry and Ron together more than Drarry.
I think like in order for Draco to be in a relationship with Harry or Hermione or whoever, he needs to have like the kind of character development that Zuko from Avatar has.
Character redemption arc.
Yes, he needs to have like a proper redemption arc. But from what I've read of him so far, I don't think he has.
Isn't there. Because
There's really no reason why he's mean.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, you knew something inside of him was good.
Yeah,
like, you didn't see it, but you knew that something inside of him was good. Especially the scenes of him and his sister, right? Because I believe he has a sister. I've only watched the whole series like once. Did he have a sister?
It's his sister. It's his sister.
You can see the like interactions between he and his sister. You can kind of see him doubting sometimes, like his evilness. So I feel like Draco is just straight up. Like in the first book, I thought he was funny because he was just giving comebacks. But in this book, when he was like, I hope Hermione's next, I was like, hang it up.
I think also it's because of his upbringing, because his dad didn't it mention in his first book that his dad was like working with Voldemort, but he's like, oh, my mind was being controlled or whatever. Or I don't know.
He was a Death Eater. I don't know if we mentioned it in the books yet, but that's the name of Voldemort's followers. They're called Death Eaters. And so
why are they called Death Eaters?
Oh, Death Eater.
I will mention it later in the books, but they have like their symbol is like a skull, like with that's eating a snake, and it's like I don't know, but they're called Death Eaters. And so Lucius and a lot of the Malfoy like lineage they were Death Eaters. So yeah, that's also why his dad is so sketchy. And he's like, I have all these really dark objects in my home, and I need to sell.
I'm just surprised that they let him like there, but just because he's done so much shady shit.
I mean, it must be, when you're a pure blood, white, powerful family, I'm sure you get away with some stuff being like, oh no,
you're not wrong.
When you mentioned like thing, what I think is really weird and also kind of like fitting with that is the fact that Draco is literally like white with like white hair. It's like super blonde with like blue eyes, and so is his whole family. So it's kind of like, so it's like, how do you even support? Like, how do you even excitedly hope for him to even have a redemption arc when he's literally like,
he's like a mini Nazi.
Oh my god!
Supposed to represent that, and Harry's family is like, I mean, not Harry's family, and Draco's family is like our leader.
Oh, speaking of Harry, like, what do you think about his friends? Like, do you guys think like they'll play more pivotal roles later on? I think there was like two other. I know Neville, and there's this other dude. I keep forgetting his name.
I think Neville will play a bigger role, but I don't really care for him.
Yeah, I honestly, Neville's kind of annoying. I'm sorry.
Okay, here's the interesting thing though. Like, you guys all think these characters are annoying, but I'm just like waiting to see how these characters will become badasses later in like the later books. Like, I'm all thinking like, oh, they're all idiots, like stupid little shits for now. But then like something bad is gonna happen, and they're just gonna become like super badass wizards. And I'm here for. I'm like waiting. Like that's why I'm just like, oh well, they can be idiots. I don't care. But I'm waiting for like the later book.
I feel like in line with that, I feel like because I've noticed a lot of like hardcore Harry Potter fans are fans of Neville. I feel like he's gonna.
Damn, everyone loves Neville here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like I feel like because so many people love Neville and we're only like at book 2 and we think he's annoying. I feel like in one of the books he's gonna literally save them in a way that's like unforgettable, and that's why so many people love him. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm like, honestly, Neville could drop out and I wouldn't even notice.
I feel like any of these characters could drop out. We'd be like, we don't care.
Yeah, but I feel like later on, he's gonna do something that will literally make us all be like, no! You know what I mean? So
We'll see.
Wait, Austin, what were you saying?
I was like, there's definitely I feel like there's definitely a reason why he's in Gryffindor, not Hufflepuff, because he's very Hufflepuff to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
based on the theme at the end of this book, it's like your house is determined like on what you do, not really like who. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna make some noble choice that will make people respect him more. But I think for me, I just don't like the cinnamon roll type of characters like Ginny and Neville, and it's just not my thing. Just not my thing. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
I'm screaming. It's gonna bite me just like how the Hunger Games just bit me. That was painful. That was a painful loss.
I feel like you're gonna also be like, by the end of it, be like, I love Harry. I love all these characters. Favorite? No, actually, I think it would be a stretch to say it's gonna be my favorite series.
I not like Neville, but I feel like because of my whole like vendetta against the Chosen One trope, I feel like at best I'll be like indifferent to Harry. Like at best.
Wait, Sarah, how old is Harry by the end of the series? If he's 12 now.
So yeah, so a good way to measure it is that it kind of goes by like the years. So he's 11 in year 1, 12, 13,
There's
14.
7
So
books?
he's 17, turned 18.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, dang, I wish he was a little older.
Okay.
Okay, no.
Like reading it from his perspective, y'all.
So this
No, I can't.
I've never heard anyone say her fave. I agree. Even as a kid, when I read Harry Potter, I used to think Harry was a whiny bitch and I did not like Harry. But now, obviously, since I've read the series like 4 times, and now that I'm reading it, when I read it now, and also I'm like almost 30, so like Harry's like my child now. So also somebody said Ellias.
Oh my god, I read that like 20 and 21 interesting to read.
I don't.
Y'all
I
are
don't
dirty.
I don't dislike Harry. I just don't care enough for him.
No,
Like it's so lukewarm.
Literally anything could happen to Harry, and I'd be like, okay, so is Ron taking over the story? Is this gonna be Ron Weasley and the Chamber of Secrets? I would like to see it.
Yeah, we stand Ron and Hermione here.
I think I kind of get what Ellias was saying about Harry being older by the end of the series, because I think it would be really interesting to see. I don't know. I feel like Harry Potter would be so cool if there was like a version of them in college.
That's what I was saying.
Like, so I kind of wish that the series would end when they were older, because I'd want to see how do they handle being wizards after school. Like, that needs to be a story. Like, how does all of this not by J.K. Rowling, so I hope one of her kids has cannot deal with another.
It doesn't even have to be like Harry. It could be like a totally new character, like
Yeah,
I don't know, some other wizard or
I
something.
think it'd be so cool if they had that, but in college, and they were like, "Oh, we about to get to this Gryffindor party kickback."
But there's no college, right, Sarah?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's no college.
Really weird. Yeah, no, the world building.
She really lucked out. She really missed out. I feel like she could have done so much. Like, if she out of the college,
Actually, they were like wine and cheese night with the Slytherins. We fighting like it
like
was,
I want to read more from like a Muggle standpoint. I don't know.
oh, that would be cool.
Like
Yeah,
if Hermione Granger was the main character, I think that would have been just more interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
that would have been so good, because Hermione, even in the like her progression from even the first book to the second book has been amazing. Because in the first book she was just this really annoying straight edge.
Like know-it-all, like sort of person. You're just like,
Exactly.
don't
But
talk to
even
me.
in the second book, she's like, "Oh, let's break some rules because we gotta save some people." So it'd be cool to see her progression of this very like, I don't want to say boxed in square, but basically the square to like a very interesting person. And I think that'd be really cool in like an older setting. You know what I mean?
Is Cursed Child like a spin-off?
So
Because people are like, don't even bother reading it.
play that came out, like obviously in the West End, and then now it's also on Broadway and stuff. So it wasn't written by J.K. Rowling. It was written by another guy, but she like helped him with the plot.
Why?
So I read it. I actually, now that people are bringing it up, I think we should extend I think we should all read it when we're done with the 7 books, because I would love
it. What was the reason? What was the reason why she allowed someone else to write it?
She was lazy.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Really? That's so lame.
It's what?
I feel like J.K. Rowling's a sellout. Like, I really feel like, so I feel like the amusement parks were fun. Like, I actually, like, once you get into, like, the Harry Potter spirit, going to the amusement parks is actually really magical. Like, you get to drink butterbeer and, like, you just, like, have a moment where you're like, oh my God, I'm at Hogwarts. But I feel like the play and, like, the Fantastic Beasts, like, series, I just kind of feel like at this point she just...
Too?
So the Fantastic Beasts, there's no book to go with it.
It's just not mentioned in the first book.
Yeah.
So it's like a textbook that they read. And then like there is like so there's actually like for the Harry Potter franchise, you can actually buy like fake like you can buy a history of Hogwarts and like read it, and it's kind of like extra, kind of like, you know how like Cassandra Clare's series have like extra Shadowhunter content that you can like buy and read. So they have that for Harry Potter too. And so basically
interesting. So like the whole movies are not even based on like actual things that happen in a book. It's just like, oh, I thought that those were like spin-off, like a little like book series.
Also, Cursed Child a musical, or is it a play? Like,
No, it's a play.
Okay.
No, like Broadway does plays too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, anyway. So I would love to see you guys roast the Cursed Child, because
I think we should keep the Cursed Child together. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
People are like, don't do it.
We'll be reading it together. We can just suffer together rather than alone.
Does it have to be read like in order? Could we just read it like right now?
No, don't do that, because Harry's in it.
Huh?
It's a spin-off, but Harry is in it, and Hermione and Ron, they're in it. They're just adults in it, like in their jobs.
They're adults?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ellias is like, ooh.
Like,
Ellias, it's your time to shine.
Ellias has left the chat. Goodbye, everybody.
I'm so weak. No, I am down to read it. I think we should, because that would be funny, because I'm pretty sure we'll all hate it, and then the live show would just be all of us complaining, which is beautiful.
Who knows? Maybe I'll like it. Maybe it'll be like one of my favorite books. And I'll be like,
yeah, you would like it, Ellias.
Imagine if it ends up being his favorite out of the entire Harry Potter books. I would die.
Bet.
everyone that I know that has seen it though, like Monica has seen it, Emma has seen it, like Kaylee, a bunch of people that I know have seen it, and they said that even though, I mean, I don't know what their feelings are on the plot. I read the play and I was like, but apparently when you watch it, like the set design is so magical. Like they actually, like when they use their wands, like sparks and stuff, like it literally looks like magic on the stage.
Like wings, they're like thanks.
Apparently it's very magical, so I would love to
saying that the actual visualization of the book or play or whatever is better than the actual physical copy of it.
Apparently you can survive Avatar, but you can't survive Cursed Child.
Oh my god,
Avatar was great. I love that book.
You see,
Ellias, I think we have opposite. It's funny because I think Ellias and I have opposite tastes with fantasy books, but we align with thriller
Very
books.
similar and similar. We rate the same.
Yeah, because like with fantasy, I did not like Serpent and Dove or Akatar, which Elias loved.
Your opinion is wrong, but it's okay.
But
yeah.
so quick.
with thriller books, every time like I rate a thriller book like 1 star or 2 star, Elias like pops into my DMs and he's like, "Yeah, I completely agree."
Me and Ellias, I would say that we sometimes agree completely, and then I think we either agree completely or we completely diverge. Like especially on thrillers. Like sometimes you're like, "This was really good," and I'm like, "That was the worst that I've ever read."
Again,
I feel like
your opinion, but you're totally wrong.
Different with thrillers, but then we're very similar with fantasy. Because every thriller I've given like 5 stars, she's like,
Yeah.
she's like, here's a 2 or 3 star. Here's some little nibbles. It's like I'll read a thriller and then all of a sudden there's a rant video from Cindy about the thriller I just gave 5 stars. I'm like, you peasant. You couldn't even digest this.
I think Cindy's out to hate all of my favorite books because you did not like Griffin and Dove, you did not like The Diviners.
Sarah,
Oh no!
Kind of monster. I'm just kidding.
wait, Sarah, did you like Lovely War?
I did. Oh no, we agree on that one. I love that
Yes.
one. It was in my favorites list last
Yep.
year.
I read
Yep.
that book. I feel like I didn't have the breakdowns because it's all about like Greek mythology, right?
Not like really, like it's there, but it's not like I'm not gonna say it's like a Greek mythology book.
Oh, okay. Because
She just like Aphrodite
no
just
idea. Oh.
yeah, Aphrodite's basically just like, hey, it's World War II and I got caught cheating on my husband. Let me explain to you the most beautiful love story that I ever put together because I'm like the goddess of love.
I like how we sort of digressed from like the second book.
Wait a minute.
Talking about other things.
Kind of good. That sounds kind of
All right, cool. But is there anything else you want to say about the second book? I'm really excited for you guys to read the third book because I'm really
excited too because I saw the first, but the third movie is like one of my favorite movies from what I remember of all. Is it 8? Because they split the last one into 2 parts.
8.
So I'm excited. So the only thing I remember is time traveling. So that's what I'm really excited for.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and it's more focused on Harry and Hermione. So we'll see.
all right. Well,
Am I doing the third book on my channel? Yes, I am. Right? I think
the next one's gonna be on Ellias's channel, I think.
Yes, the next book will be on my channel. The date will be to be determined because this was we prolonged it so long too.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening.
I was in Ireland. I got the sweater in Ireland. I was in Ireland for a week, so we postponed it.
You came back at the exact like perfect time.
Oh my god! I came back right the day before Trump was like, "You can't ban." But yeah, okay, cool. Well, the next one will be on Ellie's channel. Hopefully, it'll be more like a month timeline. We'll try not to push it out as much. So we'll let you guys know when that'll be on the Twitter account at HP Virgins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. You guys had a lot of really great comments, and we had a lot of fun talking about the book, you guys.
Thanks for hosting, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you for hosting this.
And organizing this.
Oh, I guess I did that. All right, awesome. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.